Hey guys, me again, Eddie James Kaiser after a bit of sabbatical. Had some work, had some getting drunk to do. You know how guys go. Gotta do what we gotta do. So apologies for the lateness and not getting to it. Actually having a little trouble working with iMovie here. Not that I like that program very much. I should really just buy a free app off of App Store to do this right. But using QuickTime now, so we'll see if that's any better. It's quick and dirty, which is how I like things to go. Might put my hood on, might not look so good for a little while, but it is what it is. So thanks for joining us. We're going to have some fun. This is the third episode of the Cooter Polluters Fantasy Football podcast. We last touched on week 8. It is now week 11. So, again, sorry guys, had no guests, got no guests today. Maybe Mally will have a little visit, if that's okay with you guys. I'm sure it is. Not that I really care. Take it. This week in fantasy football, we had some good games, which we're going to touch on pretty soon. But I wanted to take a second and look at power rankings for this team, for the teams of this fantasy football league. As anybody could guess, Yo Namath has a juggernaut team. We'll touch on some things that ended up happening for him this week. But I wanted to take a look at the coulda ones and woulda lost. Those are very interesting pieces of information to look at. It has to do a lot about your efficiency rating, and a lot of it is a lot of luck, actually, is what ends up happening. So, again, top of the leaderboard, we've got Yo Namath, Tyson's team. He's a pretty good fantasy player. He's a bit of a guy who takes Antonio Brown, and so nobody else does. And then we end up losing to guys who have Antonio Brown. So it is what it is. He's got the high point total for max 0.4, and he's got the highest number, or third highest number for minimum points for. He's sitting at one coulda won. So out of his 2 losses this year, or 3, pardon me, he only had a chance to win 1, which is really good. He's top in the leaderboards too here, second place there behind Hotbox, and with efficiency rating at 90.6. Very good. So you can see why he's up there, and everybody else is kind of middle of the pack. So going down the list, we have Hotbox in there again with a 91.1% efficiency rating. This is very good too. Hotboxing had a tough draft, as we all know, and he's really turned things around. He's right in the thick of things for playoff spots. I'm going to remind myself to talk about playoff spots right after this segment, so that we can everybody has an idea for what's going to be going on. So good job, Hotboxing. You're doing real well. His max 0.4 this year is 177, which is very good. And his minimum 0.4 is 111.3, also very good. Smoking to Jeffrey, Bucket Rippers, Team No Touchdowns. And surprisingly, well, actually not surprisingly, we're going to talk about this for a second. Smoking to Jeffrey, Bucket Rippers, and Team No Touchdowns, all at high 80s for efficiency ratings at 89.1, 88.5, and 88.1% respectively. Team Thomas, got a beef with Team Thomas. I'm going to change his name to Team Bullshit. This guy's got 87.6% efficiency rating because he never picks a guy off of waivers. The way this efficiency rating works is you actually have to have guys on your bench that are worth starting, but I don't know that he's used the waiver wire this year, so he can never actually have a player on the bench that's worse than what he has, whether he has guys who are on bye or getting zeros. So it's bothersome. Team Thomas, man, you on glass, or is it on blast? You on blast. At any rate, Shitbags 87.2, very respectable. 87% for me, I hate it. Not that Shitbags is 0.2% better than me, but I'm used to something in the 90s. All Blacks 85.8, the bye week at 80.1%. Come on, Walsh, you can do better. You're the player that right now we don't deserve this version of Walsh. So, sorry to say that, buddy, but that's where we're at. At any rate, I mentioned I was going to talk about playoffs this week. We are going to do a full season of playoffs. We are going to do the last week of playoffs will be week 18, week 17, which gives us 3 weeks of playoffs starting from week 14, 14, 15, 6, starting week 15, 15, 16, and 17 will be our playoff weeks. Plan your strategy accordingly. You're going to want to not have guys like Peyton Manning, who, if you're in the championship game, and think that he'll be sitting. So this is a different league, so that's how we're going to go for it. Me and Teddy and Scott and several other guys think that that's a great idea, so we're going to do it that way. Also, we're going to do 8 teams in the playoffs this year. So, as everybody knows, people who don't pay their fees don't make playoffs. All but 2 so far have made their fees. I'm only expecting one guy not to. The only guy who I expect to pay his fees that hasn't yet is Brian. He lives in Regina, or spends a bunch of time in Regina, so it is what it is. I ain't mad at the guy. He's got honor, and he's going to make the playoffs, so I expect him to pay. I don't expect Team Thomas to play, so Team Thomas, if you're watching this, no playoffs. You gone, buddy. You gone! At any rate, I'll talk about the bye week and Team Thomas's matchup at the end of the game, or at the end of the games that I'm going to go over, because no disrespect to Ryan Walsh, but sorry, Team Thomas, you just don't get the first talk. The closest game this week went between, and keep in mind I'm recording this Sunday, so we haven't finished our Monday game yet. At any rate, so far the closest game was a Smoking a Jeffrey and Bucket Rippers match between 2 big sluggers. Love these 2 teams. Very fun to watch these 2 teams. Both have had numerous problems between injuries and underperformances and tough drafts. So currently standing, we have, I guess it's the end of the game. We have a 150.9 Smoking a Jeffrey to 145.9 out of the Bucket Rippers. Big time performances from both teams. Loved this game. It was very fun to pay attention to. Aaron Rodgers, 33.2. If only he would have had another 7 or whatever, 8 touchdown game like he had against Teddy last week. But at any rate, he did score well. Matt Forte doing what he does. C.J. Anderson, great start. This is guy who's going to be worth a start for the rest of maybe the next 2 weeks here, kind of a thing, with the other guys not really doing too much. You know, he might be good. I think he's going to be good. So hopefully that pays off for him. Jordy Nelson with 20.9, great. Rob Gronkowski, I expected to do quite a bit better. 17.1 though is nothing bad, but I mean the Patriots are like that. That's just how it's going to go sometimes. Had good starts from everybody. Didn't miss start except for Benny Cunningham, but we need to do Benny Cunningham. Is he? I don't know that he's worth a start in the league for the rest of the year. Asiata for Smoking a Jeffrey, sitting on the bench, fine. Mark Sanchez has him on the bench as well. But what are you going to do? You have Phillip Rivers getting you 12.9. You expect him to do well. That this is a lot better score if he ends up getting 2 touchdowns, which is what you should expect for the Raiders. Raiders are bad, and Phillip Rivers apparently is also bad. So tough luck there. If Gabe is anything, he's a smart fantasy player. He ends up picking Alfred Blue a couple of weeks ago, and Alfred Blues did nothing but produce for him. He had Arian Foster. That's a good handcuff right there. Very good. Another really great fantasy pickup is a guy named Kelvin Benjamin. He's been tearing the roof off my door. That's right, the roof right off of it. He's a stud. Start him all the time. He's just fine. Alshon Jeffrey again. Emmanuel Sanders is also going to be great. He's injured now. He took a big hit. That was a crazy good hit. So those are some of the bigger players from that matchup. My favorite game of the week. It was very fun to pay attention to this. Some good supportive smack talk from Gaber there, giving Scotty the, you could have been worse, man. I could have started my guy who had 40 points, but I didn't. So you're just about there. I thought that was kind of fun. So good job to both of you guys. Good game. So that was that. Next most compelling game was probably the bye week versus Team Thomas, but talked about why I'm not going to talk about that one again. All Blacks played team no touchdowns today. This week. All Blacks ended up going with Robert Griffin in a start that I thought he would have done a lot better in. He had a great matchup. He had Tampa Bay. I think I mentioned this about a team in Tampa Bay. If you can't win against Tampa Bay, you're not good. You're not a fantasy starter. So I was thinking he'd be good, but that this would maybe be the game to see if he was good or not, and it just doesn't look like he is. So Robert Griffin getting 14.1, underwhelming, but that's fine because All Blacks finally got some impact out of his running backs there. Alfred Morris with 15.2 points on 2 receptions and 132 yards all-purpose. So great game out of Alfred Morris. Hard to believe that Robert Griffin would have such a bad game and Alfred Morris would have such a good game. Mark Ingram also chipping in with 16.7. I think that was aided by a touchdown. Nope, just receptions. Good job, Mark Ingram, and great start there. Brian still have Martavis Bryant to start to play tonight, which is Monday. Team no touchdowns also with a guy to start, Heath Miller. So the game's not over yet, but it looks to be pretty much over. AJ Green doing his thing, finally getting another bit of help, and Julio Jones, might have a tough little time here for the rest of the. It's tough to say because Matt Ryan has been under the Atlanta Falcons team itself has kind of had a murderer's row of teams this week with division games. For the last 5 weeks, they're probably division games. A game in England, it is what it is. So I love him, but it's been tough. He's a tough start. Team no touchdowns. Had some down performances. Peyton Manning only getting 17 points. 1 touchdown. Not that great. The guys who usually perform really nice for him, Ahmad Bradshaw, not doing great, and then breaking his leg. So that was bad. Frank Gore, about the same. Marshawn Lynch not scoring 4 touchdowns. And when that happens, you're a little bit in trouble. Started Mike Wallace on Thursday night, which I don't hate. He was maybe the only one of 2 players that you can start on a Thursday night game there with the Bills and the Dolphins. So what are you going to do? Roddy White played good for him, getting him 100 points. We'll see where he ends up with Heath Miller starting. I'm guessing he'll be at around 112.4, something like that. And with Brian playing, he'll end up with 150 points easy. So big week out of Brian. Great job getting 1 from Team No Touchdowns. That's kind of how it works with Team No Touchdowns. And I think I was talking to Teddy about this the other day. How it's like I'm going to win one, I'm going to lose one, and after that, who knows. So good game between two playoff teams. Game of the week for sure ends up going to Kaiser Soze versus Shitbags. I'm sitting at 109.3 with Roethlisberger yet to play tonight. I have a feeling I'll be sitting at about 180 points by the end of it. That's a joke. But I did have some, if Heavy's team wasn't kind of bad, not bad, they had a bad week. Stafford got you 5 points. That's not doing anything. Le'Veon Bell's going to play tonight. Even if he gets 40, I'm probably still going to win. Which I shouldn't say because I said that last year when Devin had Decker. So, cool, if Decker doesn't get 45 points, I got the win. It shouldn't have 55 points. So that sucked. Odell Beckham had a good game out of him. Clay Charles had a good game. So those are your big performers for the shitbags. Sorry, I'm going to beat you this week. Jeremy Hill had a nice game. And LaShawn McCoy had a pretty nice game, too. I'm glad I didn't start my boyfriend, Lamar Miller, even though I think I netted 0.1 points out of it, kind of a thing. Shady McCoy getting 11.6 with a reception for 18 yards and 86 rushing yards. No touchdowns again. It's just really bothersome. This is where he gets, or should be getting, most of your points on 2 touchdowns a game. A touchdown. If not, 11 is your minimum with 100 and something all-purpose yards. Jeremy Hill ran the ball very well. He only got 1 reception, but he ended up with 152 rushing yards and no touchdown. So I'll take that all day. Randall Cobb saved me. Brandon Marshall finally getting another week. That was great. I'm in some trouble, though, at receiver. Julian Edelman looked a little bit banged up, and I had to drop Wes Welker to start a kicker or a linebacker or something like that. And now with injuries going on in Denver there with one of the Thomases or both Thomases, I can't recall, and Emmanuel Sanders going down with looks like at least a week. So Here's a pro tip for you guys. If Wes Welker's on the waiver wire, pick him up. Antonio Gates didn't do very much, but that's okay because Dwayne Allen also went on the injuries there, so tough. But I'm sitting at 109. Heavy got 63 with 2 guys to go yet tonight. I'm going to win. Thanks for the game. Namath versus Hot Boxing. I love both of these teams. They're fun. I got soft spots for both Tyson and Teddy because they're so good looking. I'll start with Namath. He had 127.2 points. He still has Antonio Brown to play tonight. He's going to end up with about 150 points, I would guess. But Jamal Charles, murdering it. He's such a good player. People keep saying about injuries. I'm not so sure it's legit. He's played all year long. Andy Reid would be the only thing keeping him from being a stud. But Matt Ryan getting 16.4, which is more than I thought he would get. Actually, talking with him earlier, so I'm going to take back what I said earlier about Matt Ryan being able to throw for 3 touchdowns against one of the worst defenses in the league in Carolina. Again, I guess division games, I was wrong, but 16.4 seems to be about what you can get out of him with 270 passing yards. Kind of is what it is. Receivers are crazy for him. Antonio Brown's going to get 25. Jeremy Maclin has 24.3. And that's almost enough to win you a week, kind of steadily. Drew Brees, sort of a down week again. It's tough for Drew Brees right now. I don't know why. He should be able to score a lot more. It's always been good. But 1 touchdown, not quite enough, and not a whole lot of yards. Drew Brees seems to be like a low-end QB1 right now. And if anybody in this league has Marcus Colston, he's like, welcome to Dumpsville. Like, he gone. You got to get him going. He no good. The rest of his receivers had a little bit down weeks. Bolden has been better, but without a touchdown, he's not going to be great. Brandon LaFell with a second down week in a row. It's so tough with New England. I already talked about it. It's tough. And Golden Tate, who is what he is. With Calvin in there, if he gets 100 yards receiving, that's I think that's maybe what you're going to get out of him. And Jimmy Graham, they're not also having a very good game. So Hot Boxing, yeah, he's going to take a loss here, and that's just is what it is. Moving on. I think the only team that I want to talk about now is Walsh's team, the bye week, which is just such a funny name. Walsh, you take credit for some of the better team names in the league. Team Thomas, I do believe he's starting his lineup, but he's starting mostly nobodies. Russell Wilson, good start, bud. I probably would have started Andrew Luck instead because he's the best quarterback in our league. I believe he's leading the league in points. So, I guess good start. Gio Bernard Berniani getting 0. Carlos Hyde, why do you have that guy on your team? He's not going to get any points. Tavon Austin still, like Des Bryant. Do you realize that you're in a position to make playoffs and win if everybody pays $400 and some odd? Like, come on, man. That's just not doing what you're supposed to do. Demaryius Thomas at 17.3, cool. That's really it. Like, you got J.J. Watt. You can trade him. You can do anything. You do lots of things. Look at this line that J.J. Watt puts up. He has 4 tackles, 1 for a fumble recovery, 2 for a forced fumble, 3 for a sack. He had 2 points, or 0.2 for 2 receiving yards, a point for a reception, 6 for a touchdown, half a point for 1 assist, and 3 points for 3 tackles, totaling a loss. It's stupid. He's really good. You should be steamrolling this league, and it's unfortunate that you're not. Yeah, if you want to defend yourself, call me up. We'll do a little chat on the next podcast. But this is pretty rotten. It really is bothersome to have that go on like that. Sorry about it's just, as a commish, I know that anybody else there who's run a fantasy league is known that, like, the worst thing could happen is fine, but when somebody doesn't participate in your league, it's just bothersome. Like, at least spend 15 minutes a week between waivers and starting your lineup once. Like, that's all you want to ask. It's really too bad you're not doing it. At any rate, that's all I gotta say. I'll be playing League of Legends tonight. I finally got the update that I needed to run it. I tried playing it yesterday. I was all settled up at about 8 o'clock last night, thinking to myself, this would be a night to watch some League of Legends. So I smoked a huge bowl and rolled a joint for later. Okay. No, started playing the game or opened the program, I should say, and got an up. Okay, better get this update. So it's updating. And, okay, well, I'll just go have a cigarette. And I'll be back right away. And come back, and I'm at 500 and something kilobytes downloaded at 0% still. And so yeah, okay, I'll make some supper. Come back 45 minutes later. It's right on, yeah, 3%'s done. So stayed up till between naps and watching streams of League of Legends. Wasn't done till 1:30, so I had a pretty haggard 1:30 start to my League of Legends career. It wasn't really good, but I'm liking the look of the Irelia build. That's pretty cool. Also like Vladimir, so let me know if I'm missing out on something. Let me know in the comments or on YouTube or wherever I end up posting this thing. It should be good. Still not a whole lot of league articles. Chat's crazy good, so I'm not too mad. It is what it is. Well, I'm going to take a second and just look at things, but I think I might want to wrap it up for the week here. Tips and tricks of the week here. Put a claim in for Wes Welker. He'll be fine. Avoid Indianapolis running backs like Trent Richardson's probably worth a start, but that other guy that they got there, he's the good. I wouldn't go for him. I'll look at the standings really quick. Currently, Yo Namath is at 8-2. He's going to go to 9-2, which is awesome. Team No Touchdowns at 6-4. He's going to fall to 6-5. Same with Bucket Rippers. I'm going to move up to 7-4, and a sole tie of second place. So good for me. Smoking a Jeffrey moving up to 6-5. Team Thomas barrel rolling, coming down to 5-6. Hot Boxing 5-6. All Blacks be 5-6, and Shitbags are going to be 4-7. So bye week moving up to 2-9. Good job, guys. Really glad this fantasy league has been as good as it has been this year. So thank you very much. Appreciate all you guys' participation. It's really just great. Makes me so happy. Well, I'm going to have a quick visit by Mally, and we'll call her a game. It's a foot. Such a nice kitty. All right, thanks, guys. Fantasy football episode. This will be episode 3 for the week 11 Hooter Polluters Fantasy Football League. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you guys later.